let me ask you something. If a cyber attack hits a company in your country, but the attacker is sitting somewhere else in the world, and the data being stolen belongs to users across multiple countries, then whose problem is it really? And more importantly, who is responsible for responding? Welcome to Bluehat Cybersec Academy. Now imagine this. A company based in one country wakes up to discover a massive data breach. Customer data is leaking, systems are compromised, and operations are disrupted. But here's the twist. The attackers are operating from another country. The affected users are spread across multiple regions, and the servers involved are hosted somewhere else entirely. Now the question becomes much bigger than just, how do we fix this? It becomes, how do we respond when a cyber incident crosses borders? Welcome to the complex world of cross-border incident response. Understanding cross-border incident response. So let's start with the basics and understand what cross-border incident response actually means. Cross-border incident response refers to managing and mitigating cybersecurity incidents that involve multiple countries or jurisdictions. Unlike local incidents, these breaches affect systems, users, or data across different nations, involve international infrastructure, and require coordination between multiple legal and regulatory frameworks. And in today's interconnected world, this is no longer rare. It's the norm. Why international breaches are so complex? Now you might be thinking, why are international breaches so complex? At first glance, responding to a cyber incident might seem like a technical problem. But the moment it crosses borders, it becomes something much bigger. It becomes a legal issue, a regulatory challenge, a diplomatic concern, and sometimes even a geopolitical situation. So let's break down why this happens. Jurisdictional challenges. Well, one of the biggest challenges is jurisdiction. Who actually has the authority to investigate and act? For example, a company in Europe may be attacked from Asia. The data may be stored in the United States. And, the victims could be located worldwide. Each country has its own laws, enforcement powers, and investigation procedures, which creates confusion around which law applies, which authority takes the lead, and how cooperation should happen. Conflicting legal and regulatory requirements. Now let's talk about another major issue, and that's conflicting legal and regulatory requirements. Different countries have, different data protection and breach notification requirements. For instance, some require reporting within 72 hours, while others may have longer timelines, or sometimes none at all. So organizations must navigate GDPR in Europe, local privacy laws, and even industry-specific regulations. And here's the real challenge. What if complying with one law means violating another? This is where things get complicated very quickly. Data sharing restrictions. Another critical challenge is data sharing restrictions. During incident response, sharing data is, honestly, essential. Teams need to exchange logs, forensic evidence, and user data. But cross-border data transfer is often restricted. Some countries limit how data can leave their borders or require special agreements or safeguards. So even when teams want to collaborate, legal barriers can really slow everything down. Now imagine the coordination required across multiple stakeholders. In an international breach, you have internal IT and security teams, legal and compliance departments, external cybersecurity experts, law enforcement agencies, and regulators in different countries. And honestly, all of them need to work together, across different time zones, across different legal systems. That level of coordination is, incredibly difficult, and even small miscommunications can make things worse. Then there are language and cultural barriers, something many people overlook. Different countries mean different languages, different communication styles, and different expectations. Even small misunderstandings can lead to delays in response, incorrect actions, and legal complications. Now let's consider attribution and enforcement issues. Let's say you manage to identify the attacker. Then what? If the attacker is located in another country, local law enforcement may not have authority, extradition may be difficult or even impossible, and cooperation may depend on political relationships. So even when you know who did it, accountability isn't guaranteed. And here's another major tension: time sensitivity versus bureaucracy. Incident response is extremely time sensitive. Every minute matters. But cross-border coordination often involves legal approvals, formal requests, and government processes. So there's a constant struggle between acting quickly and, following proper legal procedures. So how do organizations actually deal with all of this? Let's talk about some best practices for cross-border incident response. First, organizations should develop a global incident response plan. one that accounts for multiple jurisdictions, clearly defines roles and responsibilities, and includes legal and compliance considerations. Because when a breach happens, it's honestly too late to start planning. Second, understand applicable laws in advance. Don't wait for an incident to learn the rules. Organizations should map out where their data is stored, identify applicable laws in each region, and understand reporting requirements. Preparation here can save critical time later. Third, establish international partnerships. Build relationships before anything goes wrong. This includes legal advisors in different countries, cybersecurity firms with global presence, and law enforcement contacts. Because during a crisis, you don't want to be starting from scratch. Fourth, use data transfer mechanisms. To handle data sharing legally, organizations can rely on standard contractual clauses, data transfer agreements, and approved compliance frameworks. These tools help ensure collaboration stays within legal boundaries. Fifth, centralize communication. During a crisis, communication must be clear, consistent, and controlled. A centralized approach helps avoid confusion and conflicting messages. And finally, conduct regular simulations. Practice matters. Organizations should run cross-border incident simulations to identify gaps, improve coordination, and respond faster in real situations. Because, honestly, the first time you face this shouldn't be during a real attack. At the end of the day, no single organization, or even a single country, can handle global cyber threats alone. That's why international cooperation is so important. This includes information sharing between governments, joint investigations, and cybersecurity alliances. The stronger the collaboration, the stronger the response. But this isn't just about technology and law. There are deeper questions involved. Ethical questions like how transparent organizations should be, how user data should be handled across borders, and how to balance privacy with security. And strategic ones like when governments should get involved and how companies protect their global reputation. These decisions are just as important as the technical response itself. So let's bring this back to you. In a world where data flows freely across borders, cyber incidents rarely stay confined to one country. Cross-border incident response is complex. It's multidimensional, and it's constantly evolving. It requires technical expertise, legal awareness, global coordination, and strong strategic decision-making. Because in international breaches, the challenge is not just stopping the attack, it's navigating a web of laws, systems, and stakeholders, while the clock is ticking. And now I want to hear from you. If a company in your country is attacked by hackers from another country, which nation should take the lead in the investigation, and why? What is the biggest challenge in cross-border incident response? Legal conflicts, coordination issues, or data sharing restrictions? Why do you think international cooperation is critical in handling cyber incidents? And here's a bonus. Do you think current global laws are strong enough to handle international cybercrime, or is there a gap? Take a moment to think about these questions, or share your thoughts and discuss them. And if this helped you understand how global cyber incidents really work, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Bluehat Cybersec Academy for more deep dives from our cyber law, governance, and compliance playlist. Because in cybersecurity, thinking globally is no longer optional, it's essential.